Yeah.
Hope you settled. I want to let people in.
I'm trying to, 1 minute. I think that the light is a bit dark over there, so I'm trying to see if I can change my position.
Okay, then you switch off your camera and bring it back on board.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah?
Can the camera off, then we can bring her back on.
Okay, no worry.
Yeah.
My name is Lucy Mikali. And today, our session's theme will be talent development. And on us today, we have two panelists, Priya and Funbi Mathew. Welcome, Priya and Funbi. We also have Martin.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session. If you can hear us, kindly type a chat on chat. Yes, if you can hear us, kindly on chat type us a no. Okay. Also share with us where you're joining us from. We'd be glad to know which country you're joining us from. Right, Nairobi. I'm saying Nairobi. Yes, thank you, Nairobi. Okay, Nigeria. Thank you, Peter. Okay, Kenya. Okay. So today's session is about talent development. Talent development has gone global in a local kind of situation. And today in our participation, I have two guests. We have Priya. Priya, welcome very much to today's session.
Pleasure.
Priya, maybe, yes, there is a text there that talks about you, but you can tell us, who is Priya?
Priya is a very passionate learner and I learn as much as I like to share with people. So this is basically who is Priya, but in the current job, helping organizations and people transform in various fields. And previously heading L&D departments and OD, but I have had a different life. In my previous life, basically I was more into the process business as a Six Sigma black belt, then discovered the people business and fell in love with the people, like something around 15 years back. And after 15 years, it's a wonderful journey that I have started with my own organization and my own team. So Priya is a passionate learner and is a passionate, energy-packed person who loves to be with people now compared to with processes earlier.
Perfect. So just for the purpose of the audience, you're joining us this morning from, rather this afternoon, from which location?
I am joining you from my home office in Mauritius, and it is exactly, yes, it is past 12. So it is afternoon, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Priya. Next, our other panelist is FM. Funbi. I've put yes about you on the screen, but just tell us, who is Funbi? What drives her?
Okay, so Funbi FM, as you have said, is a learner. First and foremost, a strategic and innovative HR executive, but my focus is OD. And I've been in HR. My background is HR in terms of what I studied in school. I studied industrial relations and personnel management in school. But I love people development. I love leadership development. And I am first and foremost a learning and development person, and then an OD specialist.
Oh, thank you very much, Funbi. You're joining us from which part in Africa this morning?
Okay, so I'm joining you from Nigeria, Lagos, to be specific.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Funbi. So I see in the audience, we have people from South Africa, we have Lagos, we have Kenya, we have Zambia, and Uganda, I saw. So thank you very much. So to the audience, to start us off, we want to do a small poll just to see who's here in the room with us. Simple 5 questions. We'd like to ask for your participation in them so that the panelists are able to have a feel of, and we also have to have a feel of who we have in the audience. So the first question is, I am in HR, a yes or no question. If we can start taking the poll. Then number 2 is, within the HR department, my role is in multiple choice, purely HR role, talent acquisition, talent development, learning and development, compensation and benefits, others. Then also the other option, if you're not in HR, kindly share. My organization has a talent development strategy. Yes, no, we don't have a talent development strategy and we're just doing fine. Talent retention is a problem issue in my organization. Yes, it is a problem. No, it is not a problem. What are you saying? There's so much talent around. One leaves in the back door and the new talent walks in through the front door. Where is the problem? Our organization has a leadership development program. Yes or no? We need them to come already leader developed as we recruit them. Then number 6, in my organization, now this one, number 6, is what sounds like your organization, more like your organization. My organization invests in the development of employees in learning to close performance gaps at the workplace. All employees are expected to develop themselves at their own time, at their own expense. We focus on developing top managers. So let's just take this poll. I've seen 25 participants have already taken this poll. So let's take this poll. This is a happy week for us. Just to update you what is happening at High Performance. We got approved for some e-learning programs by the National Industrial Training Authority, NITA, for instructional design and e-learning instruction design, and also competency-based, self-paced learning. We will be sharing more on those programs later as we move on. Seeing 43 people have taken the poll, that's about 59. I want to close in 15 seconds. So if you have not taken them, the poll, kindly do so. We'll close in about 10 seconds. Let's get to 40, guys. Let's get to 50. So 3 more people to take the poll, then we can move on. Okay. Okay, I'm going to close this now, and let's have a review. So we had 68 participants taking the poll. For me, I'm going to start with you. Just reanalyze this feel, the look and feel here. So the first ones are easy. We have more HR, 92%. We have purely HR roles at 54%. We have 21 in talent acquisition, 31% in talent development, 31 in L&D, comms and benefits. We have 23. Others is 17%. Curious to know that the other 17%, but I'm guessing it's guys in analytics or in one of those ER. Now, this is where things get interesting for me. My organization has a talent development strategy, right? What would you say for the 42% that is no, and the 6% that they don't have, they've never had, and they're doing just fine?
Okay, so my thought would first be, I think that when there is no plan, it's basically difficult to measure success. So whatever is not measured, does not count. So to a great extent, my response to that would be that if it will be important, yes, we celebrate the fact that the organization is moving on and they're able to still pilot their programs without a strategy. However, I would think that as an HR person and as a strategic HR, it's important to have a people strategy, a strategy that drives your business, so that way you can measure the goals, you can measure what you're achieving, against those strategies that you have set. You can also see how you can amend. Strategies are not fixated. They can be changed, but except you are able to have a plan, you can see where you've done and what you should be improving on. Again, I think HR strategy helps to be able to create an alignment. So things are connected in strategy. And what happens is when one is not properly planned, it impacts the other. So to a great extent, if your compensation, so let's say compensation, I can see people here saying compensation and benefit. So you can't drive a compensation and benefit without a compensation philosophy in the first place. So to a great extent, I would say just fixing pay without a compensation philosophy would not be right. I celebrate the fact that they're working, but I would say that an organization can only be as effective, efficient when it is working with a strategy and implementing that strategy and measuring the strategy.
Thank you, Funbi. Priya, number 4, interesting here. Talent retention is a problem in my organization. A huge 67% with problems. And the 2% is also very interesting. What are you saying? There's so much talent around. Yeah.
I would be, first of all, I comment on the 2%. I would be delighted to be in that country because in Mauritius, we are on a talent war. Most clients that we work with are actually struggling to get the right people on board and to grow them in both potential and performance. So if they're doing as good at that 2%, could be that they are at a very high performance level. And that could be a natural stuff, or it could also be that we are not paying so much attention to it, and we are not so much aware of whether it is a problem or not. If we look at the percentages of whether it is a problem at 67% and not a problem at 31%, it actually correlates with a study we made at Blanchard last year, which is a feedback around 75% organizations saying that they are doing very well in terms of people management, and 25% of their employees only are actually saying that the organization are doing very well for them as an employee. So sometimes we are not aware of whether there is a problem or not if we are not developing and retaining talent or growing talent, expanding their potential to some greater horizons. What I'd like to say on this is, if we are not looking at and I see that we are more than 90% HR people here, in my humble experience of being part of HR teams with a very measurable kind of quantification, Six Sigma kind of background, what I've seen is a lot of HR people have the feeling that measurement and comparison or doing statistical stuff is not part of HR. And this is where we do not actually bring the HR figures to the table in the right direction. What do I mean by that? Is if we are not aware of how much recruitment cost are we having by letting people go, if we are not aware of how much time somebody who is in a probation period that just gets on increased and increased and increased, or on the other hand, we just say, yes, we are keeping you, but we are not so happy with the probation outcome. Or even in operations, while the people are operating and the amount of impact on the rework or how much work is not done up to the level. If we were able to quantify all that into hard dollars or any other currency for that matter, if we're able to quantify that, then we would know what is the importance of retaining and developing talent. So if it is not a problem, it's good. We might as well want to see whether we are not aware of some problematic areas. And if 60% are saying that it is a problem, the question is, what are we doing about that?
Just to pick something you might have mentioned, are you thinking these people that say it's not a problem might actually be a problem, but because they haven't measured, they don't know they have a problem?
Yes, they might not be aware of the talent retention issue, because if we are sitting in a bubble called HR, and I'm sorry if I'm being straight to the point like this to our 92% HR people, but if we're sitting in a bubble called HR and we think that what we do in HR remains in HR and it's not a problem, if talent retention is not a problem, then I would invite some of us to go and see and talk to people in operations and seeing what is the problem on performance that people are having, what is the problem on potential when they are to be trained or reskilled or upskilled. So all that is time and resources spent in what we call setting people for success and making sure that they stick with the organization. Because as people grow with the organization, of course, there is a natural churning in, churning out. But if you're not retaining those brilliant people, those talented people, we are having a drain of these resources.
Okay, thank you, Priya. I want to jump the fifth question and go straight to number 6. For me, what's your thinking around investing in employees in organizations? We're seeing quite a huge number in investing in people, but of concern is those who expect the employees to develop themselves at their own time and at their own expense, and those developing only managers.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, fantastic. I really think that people development is the highest call, right, of leadership. And basically, it will definitely drive growth. I empathize and understand that it's basically difficult, to do. It takes maturity to actually develop other people. It takes leadership mindset to be able to develop people. I know that a lot of organizations are skeptical and ask HR because, quite honestly, you develop people and then maybe they move to rival firms, and people are like, I've invested in those people and then they're moving on. So I'm not basically going to, develop people anymore. Now, the honest truth is, if you don't develop those people and they remain in your system, what is the cost of that to your business? What's the cost of that to your brand, right? Now, when we talk about people development, I think that it can be picked just as a as an isolated item. I would think that it actually stems from the starting point of talent management, which I would say attraction of talent. So the first thing would be, if you're going to invest in people, what kind of people are you attracting to your organization? What's your attraction strategy? What are you looking, what are the people? What is your own philosophy, your values as an organization, and how do the values of the people you're bringing on align to the values of your own organization? So if you are able to do that, you're able to track the fact that you're recruiting the right people, you're able to ensure that your measurement of right people is also right and scaled and identified, then it will mean that if you're looking at competence, you're looking at skills, so you're looking at knowledge, skill, and you're looking at character. So to a great extent, if all of those things are in place, to a great extent, I would say that it becomes more easier to be able to rightly invest in people. But if the criteria for bringing in people are not clear, if the competency framework is not good, then if your character divination is not right, if your values are not defined, then to a great extent, you may be investing in the wrong people. But if you find an opportunity to identify the right people and you invest in the right people, automatically your business will feel the impact and growth, and business people want to make money, and every business wants to succeed. If HR can actually justify in the investment of people by showing metrics of growth, which the organization is actually achieving through people, then it will mean that it will be more comfortable for business people for the owners of the organization to invest, in people. I would think that it's not a negotiation. It's either you want to be profitable, you want to be sustainable as a business. If you're going to be sustainable and you're going to be profitable, then you have to invest in people. People development is essential. If you don't invest in people, your business cannot grow. The business where you sit as an HR person cannot grow. And if that business does not grow, your value as HR cannot be felt. My last word on that will be the fact that an organization is the coming together of a group of people to achieve common goal and objective. In people development is also succession planning. So whilst you're doing all of that, you need to ensure that you're tracking and you know who are the potential leaders, in your organization, who have the threats, you have talent threat, people leave the organization. Who are the people that are likely to leave? And now it's difficult because millennials really want to jump ship and, at each point in time. But it therefore means that right now is the time to ensure that you open the floor to everyone for development, because the pool, you can then let people find their way to the top. Once you have performance management system in place, that keeps the right people in your organization. Let me say finally that attrition is not always negative. So even when you invest in people and then people leave your organization, you need to ask yourself, are they the people you need to move to the next level? There is positive and negative attrition. So don't be worried about the fact that somebody is leaving your organization. If they leave your organization, they're not meant to be in your organization. And people like that, the organization will experience, tremendous, growth once all the metrics are in place and the right competencies, the knowledge, the skill, the competence, the character, most importantly, are measured and aligns to your organization values and the values of the people that you bring on board.
Yeah. Thank you, Funbi. Priya, in this time you are in, where is talent development headed?
The first part of the question, Martin, was in there?
In this period, this crisis period of COVID and the time we're in, well, where is talent development headed?
Oh, that's a very nice question. Actually, we have in our training and consulting business, we have never worked like we worked during the confinement and until now. It's simply because some organizations were never ready to take on so much change. So when the crisis situation came in and people had to work, for example, remotely, or some people had to now manage teams who they were not going to see for a couple of months, the big drastic question was, how do I get to know what is the performance level of these people? How do I measure? How do I grow? How do I develop? And a lot of organizations in Mauritius are still working remotely, although we are no more in the confinement and we are COVID-free. So where is it heading? It is heading in a direction where what we call today, and I love what Funbi said, is the role of the leader is to grow and develop the people. And if we do not put time and money and resources into that, the organization will not grow. So where is talent development heading today is to grow across the organization so that we create a team that is high performing, a team where actually they can handle the job and do it even better when they are not being supervised. So what does that mean? That actually means that the leaders have got space to do other stuff. They are not going to be only focused on the day-to-day operations delivery. So talent developing is heading towards creating high-performance teams. Talent development is heading towards creating a framework where you are setting your team for success. And you don't need the leader necessarily to be there for that to happen. What does that mean? The leader can now take vacations, can go back to do something else, can go play golf, can take holidays. That's where talent development is heading, is to create teams that are totally independent and high performing so that they do not need close monitoring to be able to do their job. That means people need to understand change. People need to understand collaboration. People need to understand working remotely, understanding the bigger goal than just rather my department, my team's goal. So there's a lot of stuff that has been accelerated because we were in this pandemic situation. This actually resulted in a lot of work, and we're happy about that, however, but it resulted in a lot of work because a lot of organizations found that it is now or never. If they do not do their talent development and accelerate that development now, they will not survive a year. So there is where it is heading. Unfortunately, there are also some other organizations who are not seeing this crisis situation as a developmental opportunity. They are seeing it as a budget cut down, and the first budget that goes out is employee welfare, employee training. So these organizations are actually thickening the barrier between their existing performance and the potential that they have. So some organizations will make it and will make it to stay because they will have become agile and would have created high performance team that will stay for a long time. And some organizations, on the other hand, would have seen just under their nose and would have felt all the troubles, all the challenges, but would not have taken the opportunity to gain from the new way of doing things and looking in a new direction.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I was just thinking, I'm looking at this session we're having online, and we have 100 people from different countries doing one thing, learning all of us together. Is the same thing going to happen to talent development, that we cross borders, that I might be working for a guy in Lagos while I'm in Nairobi? How do you see this playing?
Okay, so for me, I think that last year I wrote an article on globalization and global acculturation. And I think that when COVID struck, my thought was that, the future, whilst we were waiting for the future suddenly came. And so the future came upon us. Now, if we are going to look at glocalization, now means that it doesn't matter where you are. I can be here and I can be working with Pierre, in Mauritius. To a great extent, talent has moved beyond border. You can be where you are and then work for any organization. But essentially would be the soft things have come to play a major role at this point, because what will keep organizations together, regardless of boundaries, will be the center point, the culture, the collective culture of the organization, regardless of the fact that you are in America, you're in UK, you're in Nigeria. How do we want to ensure that, for instance, how do we define our culture as an organization? Such that way, when I'm relating with an employee who is in Nigeria, but I mean, and another employee who is in America or in London or in Mauritius or Kenya, it will mean that I would experience the same thing. So at the end of the day, we're in business to serve people, we're in business to provide services, we're in business to meet expectations, to exceed those expectations. In interacting with the people that we provide services to as employees, how can people who interact with us really see that it doesn't matter whether I'm interacting with a talent in Nigeria or in USA or in UK, is that I am getting the same quality of service, is that the business is providing is both innovative. The employee in Nigeria is innovative, the employee in London is innovative, the employee in any part of the world is innovative. And do they all have the infrastructure to work? Wherever they are, like you rightly said, do the organization provide, and do the people actually leverage on infrastructure to be able to work? I think that once we are, regardless of where we are, as the world has become a global, place more than before, globalization is real, I'd say that 3 things are key: innovation, infrastructure, and then investment in people. You see, regardless of where you are, when you develop, you will shine. So if we keep developing our people, regardless of the location that they are, it means that you will then be able to ensure your staff will display good qualities, and then your people, the clients will be happy, the people will be happy. So quite honestly, I would say that for HR people, it's time for us to know that we need to also begin to think about how to restructure recruitment processes. What are we focusing on? Are we going to be recruiting just full-time? Is that the reality of today, right? Can I work with 5 organizations on a part-time basis? Can I begin to structure part-time employment, but a disclosure agreement? Can you disclose to me and sign up of my business? We will not move to the other business. To save costs as HR people right now and to ensure that we deliver productivity, I would say that we need to rethink, we need to re-engineer, we need to restructure, right? We need to begin to think about how do we want to ensure that competencies are, right now, I mean, things are changing. The competencies of yesterday is not the competencies of today. So regardless of where our people are sitting, how do we want to ensure that consistently we are refining our competency framework and that we are communicating it to the people and we are measuring? And when competency is changing, the expectation of the world is changing, the natural thing would be that you need to invest in your people to now get the new skills set, that is required. So for a self-management, like Priya rightly said, I'll close by saying that in OD, there is, before now, we used to read, and we used to say the future of OD is that there will be self-managed teams and self-directed teams. Now, the future of OD just suddenly came. Because right now, as HR people, you're not going to be monitoring people, as an HR micromanaging anyone at this point. People have to be able to work independently. And to work independently, you need to provide infrastructure to do so, regardless of the region where they are working from. Collaboration is key, and it will mean that you need to ensure that you train people. Critical thinking is essential right now. You need to train people on these new skills. How do they think and solve problems independently? Those skills may not, I work in the legal industry. You may be a good lawyer, but if you don't have the other skills, set soft skills that help you to be able to translate results, we must begin to now look at our competency framework in terms of core skill set to do your work and soft skill sets that enhances and in fact helps you to achieve exceptional results, for people across, the continent, wherever you're working from. I think stakeholder management and communication were very, very important. Regardless of where employees are and where the are, we must ensure that we drive conversation. Surveys, run surveys as much as possible. Get feedback, but do not run a survey when your management is not willing and ready to take the feedback and implement those feedback. Because when you run surveys and your management is not ready to take those feedback and implement the things that are, you got from the feedback, then it means that you will get worse results than you started with. So get your management to know the importance and to realize the importance of surveys, get feedback globally from employees, and then begin to then channel, basically a way to enhance productivity by that globally. I'd say those things are important. A learning organization right now is going to be the thriving organization. And we all must be learning organization across the continent, regardless of where you are.
Thank you, Funbi. Priya, I want to come to you, and interesting question here. We hadn't thought. What actually is this thing we're talking about, talent development? You know? Let's kind of just in 1 minute. How can you demystify what is exactly talent management, talent development?
What is talent development? I will definitely not be able to tell you the dictionary definition of that, but talent development is my philosophy of both as a consultant or as a coach or as a trainer and as somebody who has a team. My philosophy is the only way we can serve the organization is, well, not the only way, but one of the most successful ways you can serve your organization is by serving your people. So basically what I'm hinting towards is servant leadership. So servant leadership as a means to develop and grow your people so that they take care of your customers. So what is talent development is wherever somebody is on the development level, whether the person is just somebody who has joined the team and doesn't know how to do it, or has some experience or has got a lot of experience but is not able to do it on his own, or somebody who is totally independent. Wherever somebody is, there is always the next step for that person. So what is talent development is to understand where is the developmental level of someone and be clear about where do we want to have this person as a discussion, both with the person and yourself, to understand what are the aspirations of the person and grow this person to that level, and then to the next, and then to the next. At this, why are we doing this is when you grow the whole of your team, then you are growing your whole organization, because typically as the hierarchy we have usually defined as the CEO at the top of the pyramid, and the individual contributors, or those actually driving your business through serving your clients directly, they are at the bottom of the pyramid. We are talking actually about reversing this pyramid by having these people at the top, and they are serving your client, and the rest of the hierarchy is serving them to serve the client. So talent development, from my term, is making sure that each and everyone in your organization is aware of where he or she stands into the grid of development, understands what is the next step, understands how to get there, has the support to get there through the leadership that you have, and grow each individual member of your team to the next step, and to the next step, and to the next step, until the whole of the organization is to a developmental level where everybody is independent and just eager to come to work every Monday morning. And on Friday, when they're going back home, they feel like, my God, my job is not my job. My job is the way that I express myself to this world. This is the way where I express my talent, what I do best. This is the way that I unleash my potential. I've got my family, I've got my personal life, yes, but my work is the way that I live my passion. And that is the team that you have when you have developed the talent within the team. And that is the team that serves your client best. And they tell you, sit down, we will take care of everything. And that is what for me is talent development.
Oh, thank you, Priya. Quick question to the audience. In your organization, do you have thank God it's Friday? Yes, no. In the organization, if you have a thank God it's Friday, yes, why for yes and for no? Let's see. We know we love Fridays. Okay. Yes. So my question has always been, and for me, each day is the same. Monday, Friday, all the same. If you're happy on Friday, you're happy you're leaving work. Does that mean you don't like your work? So Priya, quick question. Can you say that organizations that have thank God it's Friday have low engagement, or is just an indicator of disengagement? The people are actually happy to leave the place on Friday.
Well, I wouldn't say that the question is unidimensional. Like if we have it, thank God it's Friday, then we don't have engagement, because engagement has a lot of things attached to it. So it's got the engagement part, the enablement part, the I love my job, but I'm waiting for the next best job. Or I love my job, but if there is any other opportunity, I'm happy to move on. So in the work that we do, we have felt that when we look at employee engagement, we have engaged employees. In most of the surveys that we have that exist, that we have done, we have the engaged employees, we have the not so engaged employees, and we have the disengaged employees. So I'm not talking about the engaged employees at all. I am talking about more than the engaged employees. And in a lot of, most of the surveys that I've seen that I worked for, we do not have that measures the more than engaged employees. And this is where we have created that. We have created the work passion. And work passion is a term that we have coined after 5 years of consistent research. And we are now able to measure what is the work passion. Because what we feel is, if Monday and Sunday and any other day of the week, you are able to give back because you're at the top of the master's hierarchy of needs and you are self-actualizing in your job. But Monday or Tuesday or Friday or Sunday, it's the same. So on Sunday, Martin, you were on your laptop. We had a call. Why is that? Is that because we run our organization? No, it's because we are passionate people. So imagine if each and every one of our team members was so passionate about their job, work-life integration would have happened. And this is where on a Monday morning, they can tell you that they have got this, they need to go to the bank and do some personal work, and it's fine because on Sunday evening, they have actually done a lot of stuff. So there is no Monday or Friday or Sunday, it's all integrated and you are a full package. You're a 24-hour person on, and it's, you can work wherever you want, whenever you want, however you want, and you can take your personal time off whenever you want. And this is where we are moving. So thanks God it's Friday, and engagement is not directly linked, because it can also mean that the whole team is going out together and have fun. And while having fun, they have got a lot of ideas happening. So it's not a kind of a direct connection. But I feel if we were to bring to work both the hand and the heart of someone, well, that is the place where everybody wants to be. Because this is where they are living their life, they are living their passion.
I've just seen a very interesting feedback from Jackie Mora. Yes, because the week has been well spent. I'm looking forward to what the next week brings. Okay. So Funbi, I'd like to come to you. And management has changed. Where are we headed? How should managers get work done now?
Okay, so I think my first response would be that, quite honestly, right now, I don't think that, I'm beginning to rethink the word manager and the relevance of that role, particularly if you want to be efficient. My thoughts would be that at this point in time, managers are leaders. And to be a leader, it will mean that you would need to have the qualities of a leader. Now, management ideally is basically not meant to be seen, you know, while leaders are meant to be seen and heard. So in other words, you would have to, for you to be able to work well right now as a manager, it means that your people must have worked well. Because at the end of the day, result that is driven for an organization is not individual based. Which brings me back to the fact that to work well now, it means that teams must work efficiently. The teams that are in all the organization, it means that every member of an organization becomes very, very important. And if every member of the organization, they've always been important, but right now, post-COVID, you know, in the future that we are here right now, I would say that people are more relevant than they used to be. For that reason, I would say as an efficient leader, you know, the right thing to do would be to ensure that you constantly engage your people. Engage them, understand what's happening, show a lot of empathy, and ensure that authority is cascaded down. Tactical, operational, strategic authority. Let even the lowest person in the organization have some level of autonomy over a few things, even if it's just some level of tasks. I know that it's quite difficult, and empowerment is a difficult thing to do, but empowerment also has its processes. In other words, I don't empower someone, just go and do this when I haven't worked with you. So there are stages to empowerment. You need to be able to work with someone to say, oh, that the first is, I am going to watch you do this. I'm doing it, watch me as I do it. The next thing is, I am going to let you do it and I will watch you do it. You do it, and then at some point I then feel, okay, I would leave you to do it without me watching you, you know, doing it. And then at the end of the day, we celebrate the result together. The question would be, how do you want to watch people doing something, particularly now that everybody is working, you know, remotely? I would say that that's why there's Microsoft Teams. Everybody can see the work that everyone is doing, you know, even on the same page, basically. That's where infrastructure comes in. As a manager, as an effective manager, if I must use that word, but I would prefer to say as a leader right now, you have to be comfortable with releasing your authority. You have to be comfortable with allowing other people to shine. A candle does not, lose anything by lighting another candle. The right thing right now, if you're going to be efficient, is to allow team leaders, let leaders cascade work down to other people. Team leaders take responsibility, you know, for the people that are under them. They report, you know, to the people that are also above them. And then you can then have a situation where you can have maybe a town hall meeting where everyone, you know, will be there. You can measure, set goals. Again, I'd say set goals and ensure that when you're having meetings. So in my firm, what I tried to do recently is to look at teams have meetings, but the question would be, how structured are these meetings? Now, if the meetings are not structured, then it will mean that you will be achieving different results. What are you tracking? So basically, if you're able to track the same thing, regardless of where you are, whether you're in America, whether you're in US, whether you're in UK, wherever you are, whether you're in Mauritius, Kenya, anywhere in the world, if you're able to ensure that you have goals, you have things that you are tracking, and you are measuring those goals, you're measuring the actualization of those goals, then it means that you will be efficient. So I would say, to be efficient now as a manager, management has changed, and it is, I would say, leaders have taken over, and you have to be a leader to actually live in this world right now. And to be efficient. That's my first point. The second point would be that you have to be ready. If you're a leader, you have to be ready to release autonomy, to scale down autonomy into tactical, operational, strategic, authority, and allow people to take responsibility. You need to embrace, like I said earlier, you need to embrace self-managed teams and self-directed teams. And right now, you need to ensure that you provide infrastructure if you're going to be efficient. My other point would be that you cannot say you're an HR person, because we have 90-something% of people who are HR people in the room. At this point, HR people must understand that if you do not understand the business, you cannot drive the business. So to an extent, you need to have interest in finance, because at the end of the day, numbers count for the owners of the business. If you are going to be able to be efficient as a person, then there is finance for non-finance managers. This is the time for you to embrace those learning and be able to crunch numbers, do financial analysis, translate goals into how it's impacting the business. Finally, I would say that introduce learning that is like innovation, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. Those soft things, introduce them into your curriculum of learning, right? And then let your people develop, and your organization develop. You would succeed when your people succeed as a leader. They always say, I think it was Ziegler that said that, if you empower others, you are also empowered. So right now, as a manager, management has changed the fact that the level of the empowerment you can give to other people determine how efficient you would be and how empowered you would be. it seems like you are giving first, but you must be willing to give first for you to receive, right? And I think that's the model that we are in right now. The model, we have to be vulnerable if we have to succeed right now as managers. You have to be vulnerable. And that vulnerability is not going to be easy, but it's something that we have to learn. Vulnerability right now is essential. And coping with complexity is key. I think for me, those are very, very key things. But above all, stay healthy. Your life first. And if you are not alive, you can't basically monitor any productivity. So make sure you take care of yourself, and ensure you monitor the health, of your people, and ensure that you are able to provide assistance to them as much as possible as relates to health. First and first, be alive.
Thank you, Funbi. Now, at least I'm seeing in the audience, there's a general consensus that these days, there are only 3 days these days. That there is the other day, there is this day, and that day. Yeah? So, Priya, I want to come to you. There was a question in chat. When we are looking at talent development, does age of the employee really matter? Or in terms of, we will develop this employee and we have 5 years, we have 10 years to get productivity or to get service from that investment we made in that employee. So does age matter as we're considering who to develop?
So first of all, is talent development takes a long time. Yes, it's a never-ending process, because as we develop talent from point A to point B, then we set the target to point C, then we do it to point C. On the other hand, we cannot wait for 5-10 years to get the result out of an investment that we have made. And when we talk about how to develop talent, the organization has, if we go by the strict rules of running an organization, you have got a year from investment to return on investment. So within the first year, we need to get some benefit out of it. Now, let us talk about the age that you're saying. In some countries, the retirement age is 60, in some in 65, in other countries it's 70. So if somebody is at 64.5-year-old, that's the worst case, and the person will retire at 65, but at 64.5 year of age, that person is doing a critical job, and that job is not being done as it should be. Should we not invest into this person to get the job done well? What I'm talking about here is talent development is a big arc, and under talent development, there are different types of interventions that can and should be taken. We are talking about something that takes a very quick action and a quick fix and a quick result, and something that takes a longer time. And when you have assessed your people on the people and potential matrix, you know where to focus your biggest investment. You're focusing your biggest investment into those who have got a lot of potential, not only a lot of performance right now, and they are limited by that performance. So if you're putting a lot of time into those people who are having an okayish performance but have got great potential, that will be an investment that will take a longer time to give you benefit, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. But those people who are your pillars, that is, have got low potential but have got a good performance, and you have a good percentage of that in each organization, those people who do the job well, but they can't do a lot of more other jobs, but you still need to invest into their talent, because they are your pillars, but they will not stay there forever. And because at some point in time, they will start to feel that you're not taking care of them. So you still need to invest into their talents. Probably they are those technical people. They are those engineers who after 10 years do not have people management skills, do not like people management, but are very good into doing their job. So you will need to create, then we have had that for a couple of, for at least a decade now, lateral movements. How do you develop them more, but technically, so that they love what they're doing? So talent development is impacted by age, but it does not mean that people who are older will not be invested upon, and only those who are younger will be invested upon. The another reason for this is is it is not an individual will have an average of at least 4 careers in his working life. That means that every 4, 5, 6, or 10 years, they will change jobs. And that is at least 4 careers. And I'm on my 5th one right now. So what we are saying here is, if you want to invest into somebody only because you think that this person will stay with you for a long time, that might not be the case. What we are looking at is this person has to be at a level of A. Is the person being able to do A? If not, what do we need to invest on? If this person is already at A now, we want this person to be at B, and this person agrees and is hungry of being at B, then we develop this person to the B. So it depends. It's a very, the new trends in HR and talent development is to be very customizable. We cannot have one formula fits all, because they are not the same. If you've got a 10 people organization, or you've got a 10,000 people organization, we will have to have a very customized approach to everyone, because not everyone has the same need, has the same challenge, is in the same situation, and requires the same kind of leadership. So we need to adapt and serve the people so that they are able to do their job well. So talent management or talent development is impacted by age, yes, but it's not impacted by the age in the sense that only invest in those who are very young.
Okay. Funbi, let me come to you. There was a question about talent development and politics and how you handle it. That you get developed based on who you technically know who, and not maybe need. Yes. Just 1 minute. We have about we'll add on about 5 minutes to this session. If we could just address that on politics and talent development.
Okay. So I think that first would be about culture. I think I'll look at it from the cultural perspective. So I think that the culture of an organization is very, very important. It can either enhance talent development or it can deny it, for lack of any other word. So to a great extent, I empathize, and I know that there's a lot of politics in a lot of organizations. But if you are the victim of politics, I think that as part of the traits of a leader, first is also your position, and then likability. Likability shouldn't be abused, but I think that when I define likability, I define it in terms of, are you delivering value? I think that to an extent, results is usually not questioned when it is clear that you deliver results. Now, do you deliver results for the right people? Because when you deliver results for the right people, to a great extent, they will support you to do what you also need to do. So when there is politics, I would not advise anyone to step into the game of politics. However, I would say that you should go the other route of influence, right? Which is likability, to connect with people by trying to meet their needs. When you meet their needs, professional needs, I mean work needs. I'm not saying you should go and wash up, you should go and do domestic work and all of that. But if you identify their need and you try to meet it, somehow along the line, I want to believe that if you are the right set for that organization, they would realize what they've done. And let me say lastly that I worked with a boss in the past who was it seems like a very toxic, environment. There was a lot of, but at the end of the day, when I was leaving the organization, he said to me, I mean, he's a one of the top people in Nigeria, basically. But he said to me, he said, you know what? Leadership is not a position. I may actually have occupied a bigger position in Nigeria, right? But here, I would say in my life, I have met different people. But I would say that you have impacted me in terms of leadership more than anyone else. What does that say to me? I was a victim, but whilst I was a victim, the way I handled and managed it in delivering value, to the organization and to him, at the end of the day, he learns from it and he modeled his behavior, to change not just towards me and towards others. People have different background, people are trained from different places, and sometimes we must find an excuse for them to see why they do the things the way they do it, until we're able to answer the questions of why. Sometimes, and we focus on the what, we may not be addressing the issue. I would suggest that let's go back to why they are playing that politics and see whether there is any other area that we can actually influence and be able to change things, you know, as change agents we have as HR people. And I think that that's what I would say. But if it's a bad culture and it cannot change, you've done all the cultural dynamics and it's not changing, then maybe it's not just the right organization for you. But never move from an organization just because you think it's not the right organization. Do the best that you can do, deliver results, influence are right, never partake in gossip. Don't speak about your boss badly anywhere, regardless of how you feel. You know, do the things you're supposed to do, deliver results consistently. Result will always speak, whether in that organization or in another organization. Human beings are not trees. It means that you can always move. But I do not say you should move just because you feel somebody has done something to you. Try and address it as much as is possible. Conversation is always the way to go, and communication is important. Have a conversation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Funbi. So for more on workplace politics and how to handle this kind of politics, I'll refer you to two of our sessions. One is workplace politics, and the second one is snakes in suits when the psychopaths go to work. Those two sessions will be very helpful for anyone having such kind of situation around politics and talent development. Those are sessions for June, I think, and for June. Priya, let me come to you as we close. Now, no one is born a leader, no one is born a manager, and then one day you walk into your boss's or the CEO's office and they say, Priya, from today, I knight you a manager in this organization. No one tells you what to do, how to do it. How do we handle that? And that's what most organizations do. We appoint managers and never think about what that they should have. They don't even know what managers do. How can we handle that?
Well, Martin, research shows that 45% of managers have no clue of what to do on the first day that they have been appointed manager. So there is two ways of doing it. First of all is the manager learns it the hard way by making all the mistakes and then learning from the mistakes very hard. And the mistakes can be sometimes have a huge impact on the organization, not only on the team, but on the organizational performance. And what can we do not to have these kind of problems is there are various things that can be done. We need to give the right tools to anyone who is expected to do something. So what is the tool? What are the tools of a first-time manager? This is what we need to give them as training and skills development. What I believe is, as a first-time manager, you don't need only just that tool. Having a mentor to get the person through the rough and tough seas of being the first-time manager is always beneficial. I have been mentored when I got to be my first-time manager, and I need to share with you that the mentor had a rough time getting me think only just this one thing, that what made me successful does not necessarily make everybody successful. So the new tool, the new mindset that as a new manager I needed to develop, and what everybody has to develop as a first-time manager is, before that I was doing things. Now it's not about doing things my way. It's about getting things done through others. Now, how do I get things done through others? It's the whole new skill set that I need to learn. It's not just skills, it's also knowledge. We need to learn, we need to practice, we need to make some mistakes. And luckily, if those mistakes can be done in a controlled environment where people will not have any negative impact, or at least minimize negative impact, and after doing those mistakes, we will learn from those mistakes and we will grow. So we need to be sensitive about the fact that this person is now doing a very, very different job. Getting things done through others is not the same as doing it myself. Now, as a new manager, I can set the whole scene on fire and get everybody off and get the organization negatively impacted, or I can learn, and I can learn very quickly, and I can be helped by my organization to learn the new pairs of skills and tools that I need to use to be able to do my job correctly. So it's about training, it's about learning, it's about failing, it's about not giving up, it's about being helped by others. It's also about asking for help when I need help.
Yeah.
So it's about recognizing that I have something, I have a challenge that I'm not able to overcome. And I can go and speak to people. Right now in our coaching practice, we have got 8 new managers who are being coached by our coaches. And the challenge, 3 of them have got this challenge. I do not want to go and ask for help because I do not want them as into my boss, think that they have done a bad choice into promoting me. So it's asking for help and reaching out. As much as other people coming towards us, we can also go toward others.
Thank you, Priya. So as we winding up, we just to wind up, one to the audience, if you're looking to network, and I'd like the panelists to share their LinkedIn profile on chat. And also if you'd like to connect with people who are in this session, we welcome you to type in your LinkedIn on chat. We will leave this session open for about 10 minutes so that people can get the WhatsApp, the LinkedIn chat. Then as we're winding up, 2 things I'm seeing. So we will send, in today's email, we will send a link with all the sessions up to today. I know there are people who joined the learning party a little bit later. So we will send out again a link, an email with all the links to all the learning sessions. And we have requested that you share with people your LinkedIn profile. Priya and Funbi, if you can share your LinkedIn user profile, and then the audience would love to connect with you, that would be great. There was a question from Coach Richie. How do you connect talent management to strategy? Richie and everyone else in the session, our tomorrow session is on competency frameworks, creating competency-based learning. So if you have, that question would be answered in that session. But just to brief, your strategy gives you everything you need, all the skills, that competencies that you need. And so for you to develop your talent, to be able to reach to those competencies and then be able to achieve your strategy. So simply, anyone who wants to learn more on this, join us tomorrow at 11 o'clock for competency framework sessions. Priya, let's take the last word as we close this session.
Sure.
Yes, your last word.
My last word. Talking about talent development and wrapping up the session. Talent development is giving back to others what people have given.